look, before all
what you think about that? Yeah, what you think about that?
There's a problem that needs to be solved before any of that can happen.
Which would be what?
The division between our people.
Perfect.
The division between us. That has to start.
Ooh, that's a beautiful point.
It has to be. Look, man, all this shit that's like happening, all this like, you know what I mean?
Can you give me Ezekiel 37?
Fucking LA or whatever, you know what I mean? Or ICE coming into anywhere, man, if our people only fucking united. If our people didn't let that shit stand to watch another human being or another, whether the RAZA, whatever the fuck they are, you know what I mean? Be fucking taken and stand up to ICE, bro. If all of the gangs could say, fuck, I don't give a shit
15.
if you're a northerner, a southerner, if you're a blood, if you're a crip, none of that shit matters right now because, look, we got a common enemy. We got these motherfuckers who are coming into our town. You know what I mean? But that shit don't happen. So that division needs to be...
And you know where it is happening, brother?
Man.
In the Hebrew Israelite community.
Right.
We literally have Bloods, Crips, Norteños, Sureños, MS members. I've run across a whole bunch of people because why? We understand that, look, bro, we got to put this shit to the side and come together. Black and brown, especially in the Bay Area, have always been like this, bro. Why? Because we've gone through the same things.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, some of us haven't seen that in say like in Southern California. We see nothing but division.
Well, there's division out there. I mean, but the Bay has always been unique in that sense. But then you got to remember, like a great majority of us, we've been to prison. And what do they do in prison? They create separatism. They create racism. That shit feeds racism.
And watch this. And I don't want to go too much into it, right? But like for example, in the northern side, right, is black and brown, especially here in the Bay. The southern, what was dude's name? Who the white dude?
It's Southerners and whites. Sureños and whites.
Because why? Because they had a white dude go into the right.
Well, yeah, he was Croatian, but he grew up in.
It's a white dude.
Yeah.
It's a white dude, and he's the one that came in and brought that in there.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm saying. So when we separate from each other, that's when the difference is gonna make. When we're like, look, bro, we have an in-house problem and we gotta figure it out, right? And that's a beautiful point that you brought up.
Candlelight and incense, watch until the sun sets. Crown up on my princess, fringes on her sundress. Flyer than some insects, flowing like a swing set. In-depth breakdowns, off the rip index. My recepts is precepts, I'm lost in her scriptures. The art and painted pictures of her fruit are so delicious. Only when she departs from out my heart is she malicious. I obtain her, my chamber fills with precious pleasant riches. Some don't understand, some things they cannot digest. She is great and no debate and circulate and digress. She crieth out, but neither of her eyes wept. Christians out they frog ass mind, it's time to dissect. Her love is truth, and the truth is from above. The truth surrounded in discipline, cause discipline is love. Being tested through the furnace and patience.
And that's a theory. That's a theory, right? So there's a question, right? Because this
audio, just to listen.
Yeah. This information matters, right? Because this is what we're out here doing. We figure this out. We're reading from the Bible. Do you believe in the Bible?
I don't.
You don't? Can I get your perspective? Like, what steered you away from the Bible?
A lot of contradictions. A lot of belief in kind of like practical thinking, science, I guess.
Science. Okay, so you're like a science believer, right?
Yeah, I believe in science.
Okay, and then you said there's contradictions. We can go over these contradictions, right? Because the Bible does not contradict itself, right? It's just the churches, their doctrine is contradicting, right? So probably what you heard is the church's explanation of what the Bible is, right? Because the Bible is not written for everybody, right? The Bible is written for the Israelites. Right. Israelites, Jews, Gentiles, which are Israelites, and then there's Gentiles that are not Israelites, right? There's two definitions for Gentiles. Huh?
We're Israelites.
Kind of. Yeah. But like again, like the Jews are Israelites, but there's a southern kingdom and there's a northern kingdom, right? We'll get into that, right? But basically, yeah.
Well, look, without getting into like contradictions and so on and so forth, because like for one, I'm not able to really spit them off the top of my head because I'm not super familiarized with it, just from like what I've heard other people say, right? So instead of regurgitating what other people have spoken,
I respect
right?
that.
My opinion really is this, right? There are hundreds of religions that have existed, right? So then for one person or one culture to say that their religion is the only religion, right? Then that to me just doesn't make sense. I believe, really, my personal belief is that a lot of people create religion because of the fear of nothingness, right? The fear of nothingness, or what's traditionally known as like the gap of the gods, right? Or the god of the gaps, which is like, for instance, before people attributed the sun gods, the rain gods, and this because they really didn't understand where it come from, right? So then it was a god. It was a rain god, the sun god. It was a thunder god. There was this until science proved this is why it happens.
Can you give me the Lord as a Lord?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm
so
listening.
then this is why it happened, and then all of a sudden, you know, that God kind of started to dissipate, right?
Yeah.
And that's just kind of shown through history, and like, I guess to me, when I think of like, I think of the Bible, I think of like Christianity, right? And for something that is supposed to teach so much love or teach so much acceptance, really, yeah, it's been a lot about the people like that. Religion has been the main cause of many of the wars that have happened throughout history. It's been the reason that so many people have been murdered throughout, you know what I mean, throughout history.
Sure.
Now, that's not to say, like, look, to me personally, if people believe in the Bible and that makes them good and they feel like that guides them, right, then power to you, you know?
God made God's for other nations.
Then power to you, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? If that helps you and that makes you better, then
Yeah.
go on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same thing like if you know, if someone's Muslim and they believe in Allah, right? Which is, I think, it's the same God, isn't it? Basically, but if that makes them better, you know what I mean? But people inherently have some bad traits, and they use this to their advantage, and they use it to hurt other people,
Right.
And especially with, you know, the state of, you know, our country right now, and the way people are using the Bible right now. Really, I think it's going to it turns a lot of people off to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I feel like that's the
Anything-
fault of those
yeah.
people, like, because I feel like religions, like Christianity and Catholicism, is idealism.
But
Like,
that's a whole that's a
Yeah.
whole other issue, right? You think
Yeah.
about that because now you got somebody, they're taking the same Bible, and now you split it up in two factions. Now you're either Catholic or you're Christian, you know what I mean,
Right.
or you're this or you're that. So who's right? You know, who's to say who's right, or who's to say like, oh, or even the thought that like, oh, because you don't believe how I believe, that means you're going to go to this spot right here
Yeah.
that's reserved for, you know,
Yeah.
and that don't make no type of sense to me.
Right.
You know?
So, like, going into, like, because you brought a lot of good points. This is what we're out here doing, is because of the points that you're bringing up. This is what we're trying to do, is trying to unmask it. We're trying to take the cloth off and show you what's really happening, right? And these religions are not biblical, right? Christianity is, again, idealism. Everybody can be saved. Sounds good, but it's not reality. No, there's no point in history where we ever came together, shook hands, and we're all happy together, and we all like the same food. It just doesn't happen, right? And Catholicism is just against the Bible almost. It's just idolatry. Everything that God speaks against, they do, right? And it's because these are man-made religions.
So you're talking about Judaism, right? Is that what you?
No, we're not talking about Judaism.
sorry.
We're
Yeah,
no, it's
I'm
okay, it's
trying to
okay.
understand, yeah.
So those people that are in Judaism, those Jewish people, those are not the real Jews, right? And Christ says that in Revelations. And so that's part of the cloth. We're a little bit, and then we're going to explain about the religions, and that's a little bit until we show you what's really revealed, right? And again, like these religions are man-made. You know, these are ideologies that the white man came, right? When the Portuguese, right, set out and set Christopher Columbus to the Americas, he found them through the Bible, and he found us, right? And he brought translators that spoke our language. That's why I asked you. I was like, does your family know where actually Mexicans came from, right? Because we weren't in the Americas before that.
Right.
And-
Yeah. I mean, he didn't bring no translator, but when he got here, there was actually there's history of a woman who ended up falling in love with one of the Spaniards in their language. She translated for them. She translated for Christopher. Huh? Yeah. She translated for them, and then she's the one that was like, kind of guiding them through on like, oh, what the deal is and why they were scared of them or why they believed, you know, this, that, and the other. But right, yeah. So before all that, there was nothing.
Yeah.
But that's another thing. That's another problem that I draw with religion is that, like, look, right? So my people were either Mexica or they're, you know what I mean, or they're Otomi, or you know what I mean. Those are the history, right? That's the tribes that my family comes from. I also have family that's Apache.
Yeah,
You said you're from León, though.
From León, or
Guanajuato.
Otomi, yeah.
No, there wasn't. It was Purépechas. The Purépechas had the second biggest empire in Mexico.
My father is from León, and so is my mother. But that's not where their families.
Where's your grandpa
originated From León.
From your dad's side.
But my great grandpa, we don't know. That one we don't know. He took off. But my great grandpa and my great grandma were Otomi. So my great.
From your mom's
is
side?
it great or great?
From your mom's side, though?
From my mom's side, yeah.
Yeah, but you don't know your dad's side of the family.
No, my dad's side, that shit died off.
And the only reason we're asking, inquiring, is because the Bible goes through your patrilineal lineage. So it matters to your dad and your dad's dad and your dad's dad's dad goes back. And if it does go back to León, This is what I was gonna ask you earlier about, like, because I'm Purepecha, I'm from Michoacan, and I know that they expanded into Guanajuato. My mom's from Guanajuato, she's from Tarimoro.
Oh, okay.
Right, so, and that's what I was gonna tell you, like, what about your own people's culture?
Well, so that's the thing is that, right, again, all our peoples, right, like our indigenous people, our indigenous ancestry, they had their own religion. They had their own beliefs.
Can I show you about, like, our people? Like, if I believe that you would be from my tribe, watch this, and it's something I just looked into, right? Something I had just looked into, bro. Like for example, have you heard of a Sabbath before? Like what a Sabbath is in the Bible?
Yeah, I've heard of.
What is it, brother?
No, I don't know. I've heard of it. You asked if I
Okay,
heard of it.
okay,
Yeah.
cool.
I'm not too familiar with exactly what it is.
Cool.
I know rest on the Sabbath, right?
There you
Basically
go.
something like
There you
that,
go.
right?
It basically means rest,
Okay.
right? The Purépechas, we go off of a lunar calendar. We go off of the moon, right? After each month, we have a day that's literally called a float day that doesn't belong to the previous calendar or or the future calendar. This is something I just looked into this maybe like 2 months ago max.
Right, okay.
Every day of the week, we had a day called Aris in Tarasco, in Purépecha, which means rest. We had 1 day of rest in our week. This is our code. This is before the Bible was ever introduced to us, brother.
Right, okay.
Right? Our God is a war god. The Purépechas are known. We were one of the main. The Aztecs could never conquer us. We were we were people of war because our God was the god of war, and it's associated with fire. That's why the Purépechas have La Caminata de Fuego every single year, because they're like, our God is he's that nigga, basically, is what we were saying, right?
Hold on. Purechepas?
Purépechas, yeah.
Purépechas? I want
Yeah.
to look it up later. Hold on. I just want to write that down, so I want to look it up later.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. Watch this.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 15, from verse 3. The Lord is a man of war. The Lord is his name.
Right, and when you look at the Hebrew, it's Yahweh, right? So Yahweh is the man of war, and that's tying back in. I was trying to tie it back into our people. If you look up, even if you just were to Google, right, Purépechas, lost tribes, the anthropologists, people who study like the indigenous people, they're like, look, when we studied the Aztecs, okay, we had an idea of this, we had an idea of that, but when we study these guys, they flipped everything around. They're like, bro, where did they get their customs from? Because there's no doubt about that they come from the lost tribes of Israel. I think it's just this one right here, right? And what's trippier is our first king, because Purépechas, we're very different from every other tribe in Mexico. Purépecha literally, it can mean two things. The people that are, kind of like the Navajo say, the Dene, we're the people, or the last arrivals. Like, we're the last people in Mexico. So we came with bronze, we came with different things that the Aztecs had never seen before. They're trying to fight us with those wooden macuihuils, and we came over there with spears and letting them have it. Why? Because we came from somewhere else, right? So the first king of the Purépechas in the Andean mountain range in Colombia, his name was Pua. That's one of the sons of Issachar, right? That's literally spelled exactly the same way how you would spell it in Hebrew. And it says that was the first king of theirs, right? So just little things, but like, for example, circumcision. We practice circumcision in Purépecha culture. No regular person is gonna be like, you know what would be cool if every single one of us would just chop off the skin off. No, they got that from somewhere, bro. Right? So can you get that in Genesis 17? It literally says, that's literally a commandment. You and every single one of your children do this, so this is a sign between me and you forever. And we see the Purépechas doing it. We see the Aztecas doing it. Like, where did they get these customs from, right? So, and the thing about the Bering Strait, whenever you get that,
Yeah, I got it.
Go ahead.
This Genesis 17 and 10. Bring it out. This is my covenant which ye shall keep between me and you and thy seed after thee. Every man child among you shall be circumcised.
Right, so that's literally the ones the only other people you see doing that is Arabs, because Ishmael, one of the sons of Abraham, my bad, is the progenitor of them, right? So you'll see Arabs doing that because their ancestor did that, and you'll see the indigenous doing that because we are them people, right? Another thing is these flecos. I know you see them on the bottom of sarapes, right? Like the ponchos. That's the same thing. That's something. If you could pull up the pipil, right? Like my brother right here is from El Salvador, and you'll see a bunch of indigenous people doing this because that's literally in our culture. So this is before. Yeah, go ahead. And this one is in the, I believe that's the Black Hawk Museum right here in Pleasanton.
Okay.
Right? And you'll see the ribbon of blue on it too. It is very specific. That's like a commandment from God, right? Like, just another quick little note, like polygyny. You know what polygyny is? That's like when a man has multiple wives.
Polygamy. Right.
Polygyny. Polygamy is when, like, your girl can have another husband. We don't believe in that. We believe that's going the hell off.
Okay,
right? So you, as a man, you can have as many wives as you want, but of course you take care of them. You're not just sleeping around, leaving kids everywhere, right? That's indigenous customs as well, right? That's another thing that the brother was bringing up about, like the church will say like, no, you can't do that. Damn, pastors rather touch little kids than have a wife, right? When it's a command, one of the first commandments in the Bible is to go have kids, right? So with this said, brother, what do you think about what I said, brother? What do you think about that?
No, I mean, I'll just say, it's information, one, that I didn't know, right? I'm just willing to accept it and hear it and look it up myself, you know what I mean? And educate myself more, right?
Yeah, man.
Because, really, that's what it is, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's keeping an open mind until I learn something new and maybe that develops, right? But I'm wondering also how, really kind of like how all of this ties in, because you're referring to the Bible, and at least the common belief, or at least my common belief from my limited understanding, is that it comes from, from the teachings of like Jesus or whatever, like in
Second Ezra 13,
right? In the Middle East. So how are you tying?
How did it get here?
How did it get here?
Perfect. Can you look keyword in Google? Look up Sikario Masada and kept alive, right?
Because really, right, the common held belief is that, like, one, it was brought over, right? The religion was brought over,
right.
Right.
Let me see. Do you know any like Aztec history?
I know a little bit. Yeah.
You know who Quetzalcoatl is?
Yes, I do.
What you know about Quetzalcoatl?
Yeah, the god of, he was the he was the third son of the creator, and basically he's the god of wisdom, the god of No, yeah. But it's really kind of
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with how he looks like? Because he was a spiritual thing.
Yeah. He was a spirit. He was a spiritual
Can you
being
look up
at
Quetzalcoatl
first,
crucified?
and then I believe that he passed, and he said he would return as a feathered serpent.
So two things, right? Quetzalcoatl was also a man.
Right, he was a man first.
That died, right?
Yeah, right.
And after the conquistadores came, they started depicting him as white, which was never the case. This is from the Aztecas themselves, right? Yeah. He died with a spear on his side, on his rib. Who else died like that?
There. Yeah, okay.
Christ, right?
Yeah.
So then it's like, where did they get this idea from, right? And he's also depicted as a fiery flying serpent, right? That's the El Templo de Quetzalcoatl, all that. But after he died, it was said to come back to avenge his people. That's what the Aztecas were waiting for. He's waiting for them to come back and justify everything, make what happened to our people right. Same thing with Christ. He is the Lamb of God, but in also Revelation, it calls him the roaring lion of the tribe of Judah. Why? Because when he comes back, he's not going to come back and hug everybody. He's coming back for justice, right? So how do we tie that back in? Because you said it's in the Middle East, right? Can you get that source?
You get the seraphim too, bro.
Yeah. That's where I was going to go to.
The seraphim in Isaiah.
Yeah, give me one sec. Boom. And this is from a book, bro, that was if I remember right, I had quoted it one time. It was like a $2,000 book from this. Yeah. So right here, you can read that first paragraph and then that. Watch this. Yeah. Oh, so before I read this to you, there's this, like, have you ever heard of the term Sikario?
Yeah.
What's a Sicario?
Yeah, hitman.
A hitman. So this goes back to the times of Christ and even before that. So these were men that were trying to fight in Rome. These were Jews that were fighting against Rome, trying to like conquer everything and set their values and customs into Jerusalem. And these guys were the hitmen. Sicari literally means like it's a type of knife. It was a dagger man.
Yeah.
Right? So the term Sicario comes from this, Sicari, right? So they were Jew revolts or zealots, you could say, right? Go ahead.
The story has been kept alive among our Cherokee people that the Sikario who escaped from Masada.
Masada is a Jewish fortress in Jerusalem.
Are some of our ancestors who managed to cross the water to this land and later became known as Cherokees.
It says, look, and I'll read this part. It says, please note the phonetic resemblance of Sikari, Cherokee, and Sigari, which is how you would say that in the Hebrew language. Right, so this is the thing. She's saying the Cherokee people that came over here were rebels that left Jerusalem. But the thing is, how did they know to end up here? I had this book, right? There's a book, 2nd Ezra 13, right? And I'll just paraphrase it for you. Or actually, just get to the point. Get 2nd Ezra 13. I know you got to go, bro. You got your thing going on. Unless you got a couple minutes, I could give you a little bit of info.
I was about to go eat because I'm a little hungry, but
okay. Give me like a couple more things, and I got you, King. Right? Go ahead.
The book of Second Ezra.
Actually, just get get everything. Okay. Get the Assyrian star, Joseph tablet too.
All right.
Go ahead.
I just want to read it so you can also see it too. This is 2nd Ezra 13. and 40, right? And it says those are the 10 tribes.
Oh, because
which were-
because look, in the time of Jesus, there was only 3 tribes. So in Jesus' time, there was no tribe of Issachar, there was no Naphtali. They were gone already. They've been gone. We were gone 700 BC. And we're saying that the northern kingdom, which would be the indigenous people, we weren't even around in the time of Jesus no more. So we had been gone. We had been set up Aslan and all that over here, right? Go ahead.
So it says, those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Salmanassar, the king of Assyria, led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land.
So right there it says the king of Assyria led them captive.
Right.
So the northern kingdom, the 10 tribes, were led into Assyria first, right? Look at this, brother. This is Chief Joseph. He's from the Nez Perez tribe, if I remember right. Right? He has this thing right here, this tablet, right? It said that that was passed down through his ancestors. That's an Assyrian star. Literally, Assyria has that. Why do Native Americans have this? Because we were in Assyria, in the Assyrian captivity, right? Go ahead.
It says, but they took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt, that they might keep their statues which they never kept in their own land. And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow places of the river. For the Most High then showed signs for them, and held still the flood till they were passed over.
Right.
For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half, and the same region is called Arsaru.
So that's the thing, right? So it said that it took a year and a half and they came over here. So those Sikaris who escaped Masada, because science will tell you, or anthropologists will say that they commit suicide over there. But then how are the Cherokee people saying, look, our ancestors are the ones that came from over there? And this is oral traditions from the Cherokee, right? Go ahead, read that.
Oh, you
You got it, yeah.
This is from the Jewish Encyclopedia, Arsarith, by Morris J. Stroh, Jr., Kaufman Kohler. The name of the land beyond the great river, far away from the habitation of man.
Because who lived in Guanajuato before our people? Who lived in Mexico City before the Aztecs and before the Incas? Nobody. We were the first people here, right?
In which the 10 tribes of Israel will dwell, observing the laws of Moses, until the time of the restoration, according to
Second Esdras
13. Columbus identified America with this land.
That's cool. If you read the same thing in Spanish, it literally will say Las Americas. But you ask the church, you ask any bro, we've been doing this for years. You ask any priest, pastor, rabbi, where are the 10 tribes of Israel? Oh, we don't know. We don't know where they're at. You ask any pastor, who are the Mexicans? We're just gentiles. Gentil literally just means nation. We're just people. That's it. But we have a purpose. That's why you see our people, the customs that we have, everything that I just went into, brother. Yeah. You feel me? And basically what we're out here trying to tell you, brother, if you're indigenous, if your fathers goes back to indigenous people, you would be from the tribe of Issachar. Right. And there's duties of our people, bro. Right. Like, it's not just being, God's chosen people. Yeah, that's cool. But because of our failure to do anything about it is why we got conquered, is why we're still in the hoods, is why our people are leading in every single worst possible thing that they could be, right? There's this war going on in Mexico right now with the Sinaloa cartel that U.S. is trying to start now with, they're trying to send the military out there. What you think about all that, bro?
That's awesome.
I know Guanajuato's getting crazy, bro. My family was just out there not even a year ago. I was telling these brothers the other day that my grandpa's neighbor literally got a grenade thrown in her house. This is a viejita, bro.
It's getting pretty bad over there.
So, like, let me ask you this, bro. In a sense, of course, because you're not a religious person like that, what do you think would make the black and brown communities better?
Well, look, all right.
Where are you from in the Bay?
Difficult. Yeah, I mean, I'm from the Bay. I grew up in Santa Cruz. I lived out here. I live in San Jose. I've been all over the Bay, right? You know, but it's an impossible situation, right? Because because so much division has been created, so much division and so much hate has been sown into people, and you're told to hate. You're told to hate each other. You're told to hate the people that look like you. You know what I mean? You're told like, oh, you're this because you're on this side of the color bar. You're this because you're on that side of the color bar. You know what I mean? When you the same type of motherfucker. I went to junior high with this dude and grew up, and you was raised over there, and I went over here, and now fuck you. You know what I mean? And
yep.
So and then it's it's perpetuated because then
Right.
shit happens over here, and I gotta go back over here, and then on top of that, you're taught that like because you're a man, you have to act this way, you have to retaliate this way, you have to carry yourself this way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so really, it just, yeah, ideally, that we could understand that we're not each other's enemy. You know what I mean? That Black Americans are not our enemy. Black people are not our enemy. Colored people are not our enemy. You know what I mean?
Of course.
The enemy is the people that have been trying to oppress us and put us down, right?
That's right.
The enemy is the white man who's been trying to put us
That's
down
right.
and put us underneath. You know what I mean? And that's why they're doing all this right now. That's why he creates that separatism. That's why he creates it's the illegals and they da da da. You know what I mean? Because hate can't be satiated. You know what I mean? Like these people, they
Hate
just
can't be what again?
say like satisfied.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
Hate,
okay, yeah.
satiated. Like they can't. It's not like you can be angry and then that shit can fade away, right?
Yeah.
Hate doesn't. Hate's not like that. You can't feed hate and then it be okay. You know, be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna hate you no more.
Yeah.
You know. So it's just that shit is so deep in them that they don't even see. It's to the point where they don't even see that they do it.
Right.
They don't even. So now it's at a point where, like, yeah, before it was forced hate. It's like, oh, you know what I mean? It's the rich. First, it was classism, right? First, it's the rich that were like, shit, man, we got too many Black Americans, too many people of color, too many slaves.
Yep.
They're gonna rise up against us because then they got white slaves too, and they say, you know what? I'm gonna make these white guys and tell them, look, hey, you're better than them because they're colored and you're white, even though you're Irish. You know what I mean? Or you.
Yep.
Or an indentured service, so now you don't have to do that. So now they put them in charge of the blacks.
Before you go on something else, you know that same type of story is what happened in Egypt with the Israelites?
It's the same shit that's happened everywhere.
You know why?
It's the same shit that's happened everywhere.
We're the same people, brother.
It's the same
We're the
shit
same
that's
people.
happened everywhere, bro.
But let me like for example, right? I don't really. I mean, obviously we talk about it because it's like a point of our beliefs. We are pro us, right? Meaning I am against everybody who is against our people. And something that you had said, white people have established this. We, like, if you were to look up the definition of racist, it means I prefer my race over yours. I believe Black and brown people are the best people who ever walked this earth.
Right.
And I believe that the people who have done nothing but oppress our people deserve everything that's coming to them. Thus says the Bible. Catholic means what? Universal. They accept everybody. The Bible has prophecies against nations when Christ comes back. Right? Like, and this is where I was going to go to. Quetzalcoatl said, all right, when I come back, I'm going to avenge my people. So if I were to ask you as a non-believer, what do you think would make right what happened to our people? I'm talking about the deaths over hundreds of millions of our people who came in the name of this guy. I don't know if you saw that sign. Jesus, blonde hair, blue eye, white Jesus saying, love everybody. But meanwhile, I'm going to beat your ass. I'm going to women and I'm going to take your land. But love everybody. What to you, what would make that right to what happened to our people? And that's just the indigenous.
But again, there's nothing that can make it right.
Whatsoever?
There's nothing.
What would be a start? Oh, actually, my bad. With that said, there's nothing they could do. Is that something that we move past and build? Or is that something that something has to happen? But there's just not something that you can think about. I want to know what that means.
I guess if I'm going to sit here and I'm going to say, okay, let's say it starts with like, retaliation against white men or, you know what I mean? The people who are oppressing us. Well, then to me, I'm going to think I'm doing no better than the people before me who came here and oppressed my people, right? Can I sit there and like suss them out and be like, you're a good white person, you're a bad white person, you're a good white person? No, not really. You know what I mean?
Of course not, yeah.
So I got to classify them all
Of course.
as
Of
evil,
course.
right? I got to classify them all as evil.
But go ahead, King.
So
Finish
how
it.
do I go about doing that? I mean, really, I don't know. You know
So
what I
one thing would be morals, obviously, right? Like, I'm gonna give you an example. When we had, because our people, we actually did have like indentured servants as well, right? We had people who had to work for you. All right, look, I'm broke. Let me be your worker for 7 years and hook me up with something after. Cool. That's different than me putting chains of yoke on you, raping the men so that I could show everybody else that I'm better than you, cutting babies out of women's stomachs. You feel me? Like, the things that they did is immoral. A righteous person will run things righteously, right? That doesn't mean you're an oppressor over somebody, right? It just means that you know exactly what to do. Like, for example, like a job, right? You can have a good manager and a supervisor that's just trash. There's no reason why that guy's there. They'll basically do the same thing, but when one does it properly, everybody's happy at that work job. You feel me? Compared to when somebody's just like, I'm just here because the keys got handed to me, and I don't really care what happens to you guys. You feel me? So like in that sense though, what would be like a snapshot? What does justice look like for our people, bro? Like what would it look like?
I don't even know where it would start, to be quite honest. I don't even know where it would begin.
You got kids?
Huh? Yeah, I got kids, yep.
See, so look, biblically, I'll just paraphrase it, right? In the book of Revelation, it says in that time, our kids are going to be able to actually even play on the streets. Our kids, look, I'm from East Palo Alto. When I grew up, my dad was like, bro, don't go to the corner. Don't even walk to the store. I got to come with you. I went to go pick up my little sister from classes de Catolicismo with my dad walking in the church with a strap on him because it was that bad. You're going to a church and you got to go strapped. Like, our kids are getting gunned down every single... I don't know if you heard about, like, after this whole Charlie Kirk thing, that they found, I think, like, 4 or 5 people that they found them hung.
Yeah.
Like, bro, and that's in...
This whole year
It happens, bro. That's what I'm saying. So it says in those days, our kids are going to be able to play on the streets. You're not going to worry about nobody. You know why? Because biblically, the nation of Edom, which we assume, or not assume, who we can prove would be the Caucasians today, they're going to be gone.
That's right.
They're no longer. And you know who's going to make sure that happens? Christ.
Right.
Christ. Yeah, I'll finish it with that one because I know you got to go.
Look, but before
what you think about that? Yeah, what you think about that?
There's a problem that needs to be solved before any of that can happen.
Which would be what?
The division between our people.
Perfect.
The division
Perfect.
between us. That has to start.
Ooh, that's a beautiful point.
It has to be. Look, man, all this shit that's like happening, all this like, you know what I mean?
Can you give me
ICE
Ezekiel
going down into
37?
fucking LA or whatever, you know what I mean? Or ICE coming into anywhere, man, if our people only fucking united. If our people didn't let that shit stand to watch another human being or another, whether the RAZA, whatever the fuck they are, you know what I mean? Be fucking taken and stand up to ICE, bro. If all of the gangs could say, fuck, I don't give a shit.
15.
If you're a northerner, a southerner, if you're a blood, if you're a crip, none of that shit matters right now because, look, we got a common enemy. We got these motherfuckers who are coming into our town. You know what I mean? But that shit don't happen. So that division needs to be...
And you know where it is happening, brother?
Man.
In the Hebrew Israelite community.
Right.
We literally have Bloods, Crips, Norteños, Sureños, MS members. I've run across a whole bunch of people because why? We understand that, look, bro, we got to put this shit to the side and come together. Black and brown, especially in the Bay Area, have always been like this, bro. Why? Because we've gone through the same things.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, some of us haven't seen that in say like in Southern California. We see nothing but division.
Well, there's division out there. I mean, but the Bay has always been unique in that sense. But then you got to remember, like a great majority of us, we've been to prison. And what do they do in prison? They create separatism. They create racism. That shit feeds racism.
And watch this. And I don't want to go too much into it, right? But like for example, in the northern side, right, is black and brown, especially here in the Bay. The southern, what was dude's name? Who the white dude?
It's Southerners and whites.
But
Sureños and whites.
Because why? Because they had a white dude go into
Mexican
MA,
mafia?
right?
Well, he was Croatian, but he grew up in.
It's a white dude.
Yeah.
It's a white dude, and he's the one that came in and brought that in there.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm saying. So when we separate from each other, that's when the difference is gonna make. When we're like, look, bro, we have an in-house problem and we gotta figure it out, right? And that's the beautiful point that you brought out. Can you get that real quick? Watch this.
Book of Ezekiel, chapter 35, verse 15.
37.
37, verse 15.
Uh-huh.
The word of the Lord came again unto me, saying, moreover, thou son of man, take thee one stick.
And when you look at that Hebrew word, it says literally grab a plank, a piece of wood.
And write upon it.
What?
For Judah and for the children of Israel, his companions, then take another stick,
right?
And write upon it. For Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, and for all the house of Israel, his companions.
Right, go ahead.
And join them one to another into one stick.
Because in the time after Solomon, there was the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. Literally, we had a split. We said, look, we don't care about your king. You guys don't care about us. We're splitting. And it was the southern kingdom, which today we believe would be the so-called African Americans, Caribbeans, Haitians, like the so-called black people. And we had the northern kingdom, which we believe is the indigenous people who were represented by Ephraim or Israel, right? So it says, look, it's no longer going to be two different sticks. Put them together.
Right.
And what do we have that? We have that on a piece of wood, just how it said right there. Like, put them together, and we're all one nation, right? There's no difference between us and them whatsoever. Right. Other than, you could probably say color. But even if you look at that, like, for example, the Codex Mendoza that the Aztecs had, bro, we had light-skinned indigenous, and I have an uncle that we literally call him Chocomil. I mean chocolate. It's not chocomil. I got that the thing from Manny stuck on me. Chocolate.
I wanted some chocolate milk.
some chocomil. No, chocolate because he is that dark. Mi tío el choco. Right? But this is where I'm saying we've been the same people, bro, and that's the beautiful thing that you said we had to come together, and that's where it starts. That's basically what we're out here doing, bro. Right? Is we have brothers right now in Sacramento teaching the same thing in the hoods. We got to go to the ghettos, right? Because that's where it starts.
That's where you got to.
And when you look up ghetto in the dictionary, it says what? That's where the Jews dwell.
Yeah.
It literally says that.
Yeah.
Right? And what did you have? Oh yeah. I mean, we don't really have to touch on it, but what? Or actually, you can hold it. I just want to see what you say. What do you think about me telling you that? Like, Christ is literally gonna come back, and he's gonna de-alive these people for what they did. What would you say to that?
In my personal opinion,
Of course, I would
people
look to
been
you.
saying that God is going to come back for a really long time, and if it does happen, then it happens.
But your people been saying it too.
You know, yeah, my people, everybody, right? So if it does happen, righteous. But should I think that we should wait for that, or should we,
I
hope
think so, bro.
and pray for that, right? No, we got to start here because it starts with us. It starts with me. It starts with you. It starts with us. Instead of waiting and be like, oh, this is gonna happen.
Look, brother. But here, what was your name?
David.
David. That's right, beloved. Right. We've tried that, bro. We've had the Brown Berets, right? The Black Panthers. Have you ever heard of Black Wall Street before?
No.
In Tulsa, Oklahoma, where they literally had their own banks, their own airports, their own everything.
Oh,
and America bombed it.
Yep. Yeah.
Right. So
I did hear about that. Yeah.
It is all to say, bro. Of course, it would be different. I think it would be a crazy war. I think it would be an insane war. Like, for example, if the damn Sinaloa cartel or Los Zetas came over here and was like, look, you guys have been messing with our people. Bring, like, California, as much as it's a gang state, they don't know real war like that. Bro, like, you talking about somebody throwing a grenade at your house. Talking about someone just beheading you in front of their family. Bro, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Right? Wild. So, and this is what I'm saying. If they focus that I don't want to say hate, but that passion, I guess you could say, towards the right thing, it would be a whole different thing. But ultimately, when you study this, we understand that Russia is gonna go to war with America, and we understand that America is gonna lose. And it literally says, it calls it the virgin daughter of Babylon. It means like they haven't been touched. No other country has ever touched American soil like that. Right. And it says it's not even gonna happen. It says they're gonna get bombed. They're gonna get nuked. It's gonna be a war. It literally says from arrows shot from the ends of the earth over here. So we ultimately think America's gonna fall by the hands of their own people, other white people, right? And that's where we believe we have that spiritual side of, we gotta get right with God before anything, because otherwise we're gonna get caught up with it. It's gonna happen, right? You talking about nuclear fire, bro? We're in San Francisco. We got damn Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, Amazon. Every single company that you could possibly think of is here, right? So that's where we would start, brother. Telling Black, Latino, Native Americans they're God's chosen people, and we gotta get right, man.
I'm gonna go eat, man. Hey,
of course.
thank you, brothers. Okay,
what you gonna eat, brother?
Huh?
What are you gonna?
Blondies, my boy.
Oh, okay. There you go. Hey, and it's just quick. Pork is a sin in the Bible. Blondie's actually has beef pepperoni, which is actually cool, bro. Enjoy that, brother.
Man,
thank you so much.
Thank you for having this conversation.
Thank you.
Hey, our emails is on there, brother. Our YouTube videos.
Instagram.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Tap in with us, brother.
All right.
We love them, man.
Have a good night. All right.
You too, King. Look, man, and with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High God Yahweh. Bashim Yahushai. Say shalom, man.
Shalom.
That's a great brother, man.
Candlelight and incense, watch until the sun sets. Crown up on my princess, fringes on her sundress. Flyer than some insects, flowing like a swing set. In-depth breakdowns, off the rip index. My recepts is precepts, I'm lost in her scriptures. The art and painted pictures of her fruit are so delicious. Only when she departs from out my heart is she malicious. I obtain her, my chamber fills with precious pleasant riches. Some don't understand, some things they cannot digest. She is great and no debate and circulate and digress. She crieth out, but neither of her eyes wept. Christians out they frog ass mind, it's time to dissect. Her love is truth, and the truth is from above. The truth surrounded in discipline, cause discipline is love. Being tested through the furnace, and patience I'm required.